In NASCAR's backyard, Charlotte Motor Speedway hosts the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
The pace car hits pit road.
134 laps of racing coming your way here tonight.
Trouble at turn 2.
Oh, we got a spinner.
Oh, trouble at turn 3.
Trying to hang on to it.
3 wide, Kyle up the middle now.
Goes to the middle and to the lead.
Kyle Busch is going to do it again.
Unprecedented 7 wins now at this track.
So good to be here, and it has been some kind of day. The clouds, the rain, it has all been visiting, but gone away for now for the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Race number 7. Looking forward to it. Always fun, especially here at Charlotte. Home sweet home for many of these teams as we take a look at our Camping World track description.
Vince, this is one of the best racetracks in all of NASCAR. It's 1.5 miles in length. You can see the corners are banked 24 degrees, but the way you enter and exit these corners, it's different on each end. That makes it a real challenge for these drivers.
Let's take a look at our Shell Rotella race analysis. You see this race is 134 laps, 201 miles. Our stages are a little shorter than they were last year. 30 laps. Second stage will end at lap 60, and our final stage will be 74 laps. And you see the pit window somewhere between 50 and 55 laps.
Our starting lineup. Qualifying was rained out, so lining up via points, and Johnny Sauter and Noah Gragson on the front row, and those two, well, we anticipate very well could battle right to the end for the championship this season.
Vince, Todd Gilliland is back in row number 2. Let's see if we can chat with him. Hey, Todd Gilliland, Phil Parsons and the boys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yep, 10-4.
Well, you had a birthday. You turned 18 on Tuesday. Did you ever think this day would get here when you'd be able to run 1.5 miles?
No, the beginning of the season went by really slow, but you know, from here on out, we're looking for consistency. Got my crew chief Marcus Richmond back on the box, and you know, just trying to learn every lap on the racetrack.
All right, buddy, have some fun tonight.
Thank you.
Looking at the rest of the starting lineup, 32 trucks.
There's a couple of those strong horses in the back, Vince, that I talked about earlier. Josh Rayum, Timmy Hill, there's J.J. Yaley in the Freight Auctions truck.
Austin Wayne Self in that 22 will have to drop to the rear tonight. Has to go to a backup after a practice crash. And take a look at our onboard cameras.
Well, we're going to have a great view on this Ford onboard. This is Grant Enfinger. He's also going to be carrying our visor cam. He's looking around right now, looking at his gauges, and this is going to be a great look tonight. Look at how beautiful it is out here with this blue sky, and he will start from the 5th spot.
Let's hop up on the front row and ride along with Noah Gragson. Noah in a Kyle Busch Motorsports Toyota. He's been up front a lot lately. A couple of poles, won our last outing. Looking for a lot of clean windshield out of the front of this truck tonight.
Well, we mentioned Kyle Busch in the field tonight, seeking career win number 50 in the trucks, which would tie Hall of Famer Ron Hornaday Jr. for the all-time record most wins. It's been a special place for Kyle. Charlotte Motor Speedway.
His first race was when he was 16 years old at Lucas Oil Raceway and had a top 10 finish in his first ever start in the trucks.
Got his first win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway back in 2005, and Kyle Busch Motorsports was formed, and in April of 2010 drove his truck to victory lane at
Nashville Super Speedway. And there's been a lot of wins since then.
Check out that list. Hall of Famer Ron Hornaday leads it, and Kyle Busch is just one away from tying the great Ron Hornaday.
Let's get back downstairs, check in with our pit reporters one more time. Hermie?
Well, Vince, this is Trip Bruce. He's the crew chief of Stuart Friesen in the 52. What a show your driver put on last week at Kansas. Is your team and driver ready to win in this series?
Well, we sure would like to think we are. It's just a lot of preparation, a lot of people working in the same direction, pulling in the same direction now, and things are coming together for us for sure. Stewart, he's just cool, you know, ice freezing. So we sit back and watch. I've told him to settle in here and get the start underway and see what it brings for him and charge hard later.
Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, you heard from Todd Gilliland, the driver. Now let's hear from the crew chief, Marcus Richmond. Todd doesn't have any experience here, so what have you told him might be the keys to getting a victory here?
It's just it's a great opportunity for Todd and everybody here on this pedigree Tundra. We just got to keep our nose clean, be there at the end, let him run all the laps so he can get the most experience moving forward. Just can't go out early because he just needs to get more and more experience on the racetrack.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
That's Todd Gilliland in the 4 truck. Has to be 18 years old to run these big tracks. Turned 18 on May 15th. How about Brett Moffitt in the 16, a winner earlier this season at Atlanta?
Let's go win this one. Just stay smooth all night. Be smart. Let's do it. I like your attitude. Just stay tough here. Take care of my truck for me and tell me what you need, bud. We'll work on it all night.
It's Moffitt in his communication with the crew chief, Scott Zipadelli. Running the 1.5 miles for the 4th time this season, the 4th of 10 on the 1.5 mile tracks. If you're going to be a champion in this series, you better be able to run these intermediates and run them well. We're about to find out what it's all about tonight here at Charlotte. Johnny Sauter on the outside, Noah Gragson on the inside. The green is waving. Sauter in that blue and 121 truck right to the point, and Noah Gragson there on the outside with Todd Gilliland coming up on the inside.
Huge move to the high side for Daniel Hemrick, having to make up some ground. Nice start for that young man.
Wow, Gragson up top.
Johnny Sauter's going to fight back on the bottom of the racetrack.
Side by side, Sauter leads the first lap.
Still looks like the parade lap, doesn't it, Vince? These guys stacked up 2 by 2. This track is a lot different than the other 1.5 mile spill. It's narrower. There just isn't that much room in the corners. That's what makes racing here so challenging.
That's Kyle Busch in 3rd in that 51 truck right behind Gragson, and now Brett Moffitt drops to the inside for 4th. Matt Crafton and Todd Gilliland.
Whoa, Gilliland
big
sideways.
wiggle for Gilliland to save it.
He had to grab a little bit of steering wheel to stay off the 88 of Crafton.
Marcus Richmond said, take it easy. We want to run all the laps. That probably raised both Todd Gilliland and crew chief Marcus Richmond's heart rate a bit with that big slide off turn 4.
You know, we talked about Sauter and Gragson being 2 drivers that we anticipate could very well battle right to Homestead for the championship. And there they are side by side for the lead still. And how about Todd Gilliland grabbing a handful?
He did a nice job staying off that 88 of Matt Crafton.
Watch this from great in-fingers view.
Just really, Vince, he didn't have time to react. It happened so quickly. Grant Enfinger just kept his foot right on the floorboard, and luckily, a nice job by Gilliland straightening that thing out.
John Hunter Nemechek in that black 8 truck moving inside of Crafton for position.
Crafton's been running up the hill. I think we've heard a lot of the drivers complain about pushing. The trucks don't turn well, some of them on exit. I think that could be what's hurting Crafton right now, being up on the high side like he is.
Remember, we were able to get both our practice sessions in here for the trucks, but it's rained on and off ever since then, so their racetrack is a little bit different than these guys saw during practice.
Brett Moffitt edging just ahead of Kyle Busch for 3rd. Now Busch comes right back on the inside.
He's going to make that pass, Vince, and move up to 3rd. You see Ben Rhodes in that beautiful green truck. He's making some nice moves on the high side as well. I look for him to be a real factor here tonight.
Rhodes right on the tailgate of Moffitt.
There's Stuart Friesen, that blue and white number 52, up in his starting position of 10th, up into the top 6.
He said he wasn't really concerned about qualifying getting rained out. He said, we'll start in the top 10. I know we can win from there, making some nice moves early.
Matt Crafton in that neon yellow 88 is back in 8th. There's the 2 of Cody Coughlin, the 13 of Myatt Snyder, the 0-2 of Austin Hill. They run back 13th, 14th, 15th.
Oh, you can see Hill loose down on the bottom of the racetrack. That truck is free. That would be an example of the opposite of what Matt Crafton was fighting, as that 02 truck about spun out on him. Finishes that move, though. Good strong run here early by the 02 of Hill.
Up in the front, it's Johnny Sauter.
Just a glorious night.
Trucks always put on quite a race here at Charlotte.
It's a home game.
We're underway here at Charlotte. We got a crash off turn 4.
They are wheel to wheel. 3 wide. Contact. Double turn number 2.
Unbelievable. That's why people love the trucks, because they go hard from lap 1 to the end.
The winner at Charlotte. Welcome back to the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 here on FS1, where Noah Gregson has returned to the point past Johnny Sauter for the lead.
You can see he gets a nice run on Sauter down in turn 1. Sauter went up to down to the low side of the track, and Noah never cracked it. It looks like just right around the top. Nice move. And then he darts below Sauter on exit, and you can see the 21 truck got a little loose there coming off.
Yeah, these guys are still running some pretty good lap times down below 31 flat.
Get a good draft here.
Oh, a big
Big
draft.
time grab. And you can, right there, he backed off just for an instant and then crosses Johnny over.
That's good stuff right there. Nice move by Gregson.
Of course, Noah Gregson had that perfect performance last week at Kansas with his performance, winning the pole, winning stage 1, winning stage 2, winning the race, trying to back it up tonight. Hermie?
Vince, you can just see the confidence in this, not only in Noah himself, but in his team around Noah. They really believe in him. They really listen to what he says about the truck. They've made adjustments all day. His truck was not very good in the first practice. They continued to work on it, and he calmly changed his entry into turn 1 after a few laps. When the 21 was getting away, the 18 was on the splitter. So the air pressures have come up. Noah has adjusted his line a little bit on entry, and he's out front and running a good pace right now. But you can just see how much it has done for Noah to get that first victory on a 1.5-mile racetrack last weekend at Kansas and bring that momentum here to Charlotte.
He's just 19 years old, gets a lot of attention for his lively personality, both on social media and also even on television. We see it often, but we've also seen a maturity start to creep in with his performance on the racetrack.
It really started last year, about a third of the way through the season. Struggled a little bit early on, jumped in and got a good top 5 at Martinsville at the beginning of last year, and then was solid from there on towards the rest of the season. Got that big win at Martinsville in the fall.
Well, and when you can do that, when we can say as a teenager, he showed a lot of patience and he ran well at Martinsville. That's one of the easiest places to tear your truck up on the first lap. He's able to move through the field and had a great top 5. I think that set him in a good direction. And speaking of going in a good direction, we talked about Brandon Jones at the start. He's all the way up inside the top 15 now and has caught another glob of trucks. He's running really well early, Caitlin.
Yes, he certainly is, Michael. As you mentioned, started 28th, has been methodically making his way through the field. Just told his crew chief, Cody Glick, he says, I'm starting to lose some rear grip center exit. And his crew chief responded, well, you're doing really good. Just take care of it there. We will make sure we work on it when we come down on pit road, guys.
Well, and while the 46 is moving forward, the same can't be said for the 88 of Matt Crafton, right about where he started.
I think he thinks it too is down on the nose. The front end bottoming out in the corner, and it's not allowing him to have any traction in his front tires, and that's why he's sliding uphill. We saw that earlier, that's where he was going, and I think Matt just colorfully explained to us exactly what was going on.
Oh, Cody Coughlin got into the back of Grant Enfinger.
I think something that, yeah, there's a lot going on there, Vin. Is it a flat tire for Enfinger?
Be down. Got 2 coming, 2 more coming, 2 more coming, then an opening, 1 more coming. 10 back, 5 back, clear down, clear down, clear down. We got a flag, got a flag. Right side, right side's only here.
Caution's out, caution's out.
Caution's out. Stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out, stay out. All right, go real slow here, go real slow.
That's good spotting there. That's exactly what he has to do. Go really slow. That spotter, David Pepper, telling him to keep the pace down because, Phil, you've seen it. That tire can just totally destroy that right rear corner of the truck. And probably the most important corner of the truck is that right rear.
Look at this big pack. of trucks, and the 98 is right there in the front.
Watch Kligerman go around the outside.
I think that tire went down, and that was the smoke we saw. And Cody Coughlin, a heads-up job getting down below Enfinger here.
There'll be another great view of it right here. That's him leading the back, the 98 of Enfinger. Good view of Brandon Jones, Parker Kligerman splitting Norm Benning. There's Austin Hill also on the bottom, the 4 wide for a moment.
There you can see the carcass of that tire coming off up in turn 4.
Grant did an amazing job holding on to control of that truck.
Good job by Enfinger keeping it off the wall. Now, with just 9 laps to go here in this first stage, is this a opportunity for some teams to maybe play a little strategy?
I think if you're not racing for points, somebody like Kyle Busch, yeah, it's a great opportunity because we know that he can go from here.
When you get caught up, hit next time by.
From here to the end of the second stage at lap 60. So that's right in their window, easily to make it. So I think if you're not running for points and not worrying about the stage points, then let's come on in pit road here. Then we'll have great track position at the end of stage 1 for that next restart.
And a couple of those guys that I talked about at the opening of the show, starting in the back, Brandon Jones, Parker Kligerman, they'll have the opportunity, the option to do just that.
Kyle currently sitting 3rd.
So this is that window I'm talking about, the 7-8. I think we got to come right here so we don't get leapfrogged by a bunch of guys, Kyle, and get even worse in traffic. Okay.
And Mike Hillman Jr. thinking the exact same way we are, guys.
Another truck that could try to use some strategy here is Jesse Little. He had moved up into the 18th position, so he's got a competitive truck, and this could be a great opportunity to get up front and in some clean air after the end of the stage.
Here's a good look at that 97 truck of Little. Boy, he's been impressive in just a couple of starts this season. Enfinger has come in for that flat right rear. They're going to change right sides. Make a chassis adjustment as well. Over to the left side, make it a 4-tire change.
Yeah, he'll have to restart this race from the tail end of the longest line because he pitted too soon. But it's way better to do that than it is to stay out there and tear that quarter panel off, Michael, like you were talking about, if that tire came apart anymore.
The driver's job is never done, Phil. You see the green lights. That's keeping the Enfinger, keeping the pit road speed exactly where it belongs as he comes down pit road. The team counts on that driver to get all he can, but to stay within the speed limits.
So who's coming? The leader, Noah Gregson, while Johnny Sauter stayed out. So Gregson and Kyle Busch leading them down pit road, and they brought a bunch of company.
Yeah, late decision by Crafton to come down pit road as well. I'm really surprised that anybody came to pit road now.
That is surprising. I like Johnny Sauter's decision, and if I'm some of these other trucks, Hermie, I would have liked to stay out, but what are their problems? What are they fighting down there?
Michael, the 51 of Kyle Busch, his truck is taken off in the center of the corner. You see a chassis adjustment, putting tires on the right side, but overall the truck just too tight. Pretty much the same thing for Noah Gregson, but his truck obviously not as bad. Started off a little bit free on the splitter, went to a 1 tight later on in that run. 4 tires down and away for Noah Gregson.
And a truck in front of the 51 creating a problem for it to get out of its pit box.
Yeah, Kyle's not too happy about it either.
I think that might have been the 3 of Jordan Anderson created some problems. Close call for the 98 of Enfinger. Brings out the first yellow of the night in Charlotte. Cannot wait. It's the Monster Energy All-Star Race tomorrow evening right here on FS1. $1 million on the line for NASCAR's best.
Vince, I have never been as excited to watch a race as I think I am tomorrow night for this All-Star race. Our trucks put on such a great show here at Charlotte. Their speeds are slower. You see them 2 and 3 wide in the corners. We'll have that tomorrow night in the All-Star race, and it's going to be out of hand.
We always tweak things a little bit for the All-Star race, but this was wholesale changes for tomorrow night with the rule package.
Issues for Noah Gregson. Came to pit road as the leader, caught for speeding. Kyle Busch had a little bit of a slow stop as well. We thought initially by an initial video that maybe he had been blocked in, but went back and looked at it during the commercial break. That wasn't the case, just a slow stop for Kyle. Johnny Sauter elected to stay out instead of coming to pit road.
We already got our 2 wins. Let's get stage points. Track position is going to kill us. We don't need it until the last segment.
That's just a spirited debate there. Johnny thinks he's going to get buried in traffic, and he's going to. But if he can hang on, get this win, get that playoff point and some stage points, I think this could be a good move.
He's going to have to hold these guys off for 4 laps as they restart this race. Remember, Brett Moffitt right behind him was on pit road.
Sauter on the outside, Austin Hill on the inside for this restart.
Looks like they're pushing and shoving there on this restart.
Yeah, Johnny and Austin had them backed up there. Those hot tires just couldn't get traction and get going. You can see the 22. Oh, that's so close. Is that Daniel Hemrick back there as well?
He was slow headed the 41 of Ben Rhodes right behind him.
For the lead, Brett Moffitt inside of Johnny Sauter. Moffitt there in that black and green 16. He's got it.
Yeah, most of the guys down in the garage here, he said that after these tires cool off some, they have some speed. Johnny's able to stay right with Moffitt with fresher tires right now for a lap or so.
Justin Haley has moved to third, and there's that 25 truck, the black and yellow, Dalton Sargent, the rookie, and moving into fourth.
What about Parker Kligerman from out back all the way up toward the top 5?
Boy, Austin Hill didn't come in and get tires, and he's dropping in that 0-2. Restarted on the front row. He's back to 7th.
Johnny Sauter's just trying to hang on right now. There goes the fresh tires of Haley around Sauter. Sauter's got a nice gap back to Dalton Sargent in 4th position.
Final couple of laps here in stage 1.
Look at Matt Crafton go around the high side, 3 wide around Jesse Little.
Back to 1 inside bottom. There you go.
Crafton was not happy with the handling of his truck, but it seems like they've tuned and tweaked, and it is much better.
Remember, stage points at stake right here as well. Right now, Crafton outside the top 10 as Kyle gets by his young teammate, the 4 of Todd Gilliland.
That's for 7th. Now inside of Parker Kligerman is the 51 of Kyle Busch.
That truck, it looks like the adjustments Kyle called for and they made down on pit road. He's got a really good pace going right now.
Matt Crafton is on the move in that neon yellow 88. They have fixed him up. Crew Chief Junior Joyner is giving Crafton something to work with here in these final couple of laps of the stage. Challenging Gilliland. There's the green and white checkers for Brett Moffitt, his first career stage win.
Johnny Sauter hung on for 3rd in that stage. But he's right, he's going to be behind a lot of trucks when he makes his pit stop now at the end of this stage.
Some excitement already tonight. More to come for sure. Brett Moffitt, stage 1 winner. Brett Moffitt wins stage 1, gets those 10 points and that 1 playoff point, which he hopes becomes a factor later in the season.
It's good to collect those babies. Get ready to go hunting for a championship.
Now the pits will be open this time but wouldn't expect Moffitt or Haley to come, but Johnny Sauter for sure.
He's going to, guys, that's the 29th stage in a row that Johnny Sauter has scored points. 29 stages in a row, 14.5 races.
You know, sometimes you talk about not being able to teach old dogs new tricks. They came up with a new plan, and Johnny Sauter was the first one to take advantage of it, right?
Exactly. Lou Kligerman's coming as well. That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, Kligerman pitted the first time around as well. Go downstairs to Caitlin.
Well, talking about Parker Kligerman, he was complaining about a vibration. When I turn right, it hits a vibration, so they elected to come down pit road, go ahead and make a tire change and see if they can't diagnose that. Hermie.
The concern for the 21, not only losing track position, but how the truck may drive and what adjustments they need to make while they're in traffic, and if the truck will still be good when he gets back out front. But it's 4 tires, fuel, and they're raising the track bar for the 21.
There goes Johnny Sauter leaving pit road. Let's see if we can hop inside Brett Moffitt's truck and see what he thinks. Hey, Brett, it's Michael and the boys up in the Fox booth. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you, Michael.
Nice job getting that stage win. How's the truck feel in traffic, and is it much different once you get out in front?
Yeah, we got a good Tundra again tonight. Scott and the guys did a really good job with it, but I got to give that stage win to the pit crew. They got us out in the right position on fresh tires, and dirty air is definitely a little bit of a hassle behind those guys, but once I got out front, it's driving really good. So Hopefully we can keep it up here and steal one off tonight.
Well, it's Monster Energy All-Star Weekend, and you got a little bump in your step. I hope you get another stage win and contend for this win tonight. Have fun, buddy.
Thank you. Got a hell of a chip on our shoulder, so we'll go get us one.
I like that. Isn't that what you want your driver in that car, in that truck thinking?
Moffitt, a winner earlier this season at Atlanta, a two-time winner in the Truck Series. Stage 2 when we come back. Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Getting ready for the beginning of stage number 2 after Brett Moffitt took the stage 1 victory.
Good news for Mike Snyder. He was penalized in his first pit stop for pitting outside the box. That was a lap penalty. He got the free pass on this caution, so he's back on the lead lap now. There he is right there.
Good look at the 13 of Snyder. He and Dalton Sargent are in a tight battle for Rookie of the Year. 1 point separates the two, so strong performance needed for both of those drivers as they have their eyes not just on Rookie of the Year, but also being one of those top 8 that make the playoffs.
Yeah, every week's important.
And those guys are playoff contenders. I just can't wait to see which 8 elevate themselves and put themselves in a position to go run for this championship.
We have way more than 8 good trucks, Michael.
No doubt.
I don't know how we're going to sort it all out.
It's going to be by moves like we just saw Joe Shear make. A pit call that gets you some stage points, maybe get you in a position to get a better finish than you deserve.
How about the 24 of Justin Haley will restart on the front row?
Yeah, right about midway. The biggest thing is there's still some of that PJ1 residue, I think, on the racetrack, and it's just so cold that, like Cameron was saying, you put all 4 tires in it. I mean, the truck just takes off on the guys that were doing it. But yes, that middle group did seem to come in there about midway through that run.
That PJ1 they're speaking of is the traction compound that the track applies to the surface. And what I'll tell you about that, Phil, we've been here for all day long and haven't heard one word about the PJ1. The drivers are just handling it, driving through it, under it, whatever they need to do. And I think that's a great thing. It just shows you how tough these competitors are. You can see a slight coloration change where the traction compound, it's darker where it's been applied.
So it'll be Justin Haley on the inside and Brett Moffitt, the stage 1 winner, on the outside, with Dalton Sargent and John Hunter Nemechek in row 2 for this restart. The pace car will pull off and Moffitt will lead them back to green. Remember, this second stage will take us to lap 60 as they approach the restart zone, and the green flag waves. Racing again at Charlotte.
Boy, a bit of a jam up on that restart as well.
I think that has everything to do with those tires being a little hot. Phil, maybe picking up some debris, some rubber off the road. Hard to get that horsepower down to the ground and make good traction.
Nemechek went from 4th to 2nd, and Haley slips into that 3rd spot. And here comes Matt Crafton on the inside with Stuart Friesen.
But Dalton Sargent, the 25 truck, in the middle for a moment.
You give me an aggravated Matt Crafton with a truck that Junior Joyner's tuned on and fixed, I'll take that bet any day. Matt Crafton seems motivated tonight to get something done.
And how about Noah Gregson, already back up into the top 10 after that penalty for speeding on pit road on his pit stop.
Pulls alongside of Crafton now, trying to get side by side with the 88. Has to tuck back in behind Crafton.
We talk about the maturity. This is when Noah Gregson has to show that maturity, not take any chances, just make his way methodically up back towards the front.
Watch this right in front of Matt Crafton. The 41 right in front of Crafton is Ben Rhodes, the 97 of Jesse Little.
Wow. Little got really loose on entry, Vince, and that's the worst place to get loose, because that's when the truck can hop out from underneath of you. Looked like he barely hung on to it.
And Michael, the 88 is really holding on right now, but he does not like the way this Ford is driving, especially he cannot get to the bottom of the racetrack. You see him working the middle to the top side of turns 3 and 4. He has made several mentions to Junior Joyner since they came to pit road that he cannot run the bottom, especially in 3 and 4, and he thinks that's really hurting him speed. Same thing in 1 and 2. He's using the middle to the top side of the racetrack, and even early on in the run as well. So not really happy with what he's got. But good news is they got another opportunity coming up to work on it, maybe at the end of this stage. Caitlin.
Well, Hermie, taking a look at the 97 of Jesse Little, just running a limited schedule so far this year. Had a chance to talk with him for a while today about his involvement with his race team. He told me it's just 3 individuals at their shop that work full-time, him included. And he's kind of a hands-on guy. He does a little bit of everything, works on the truck, helps with sponsorship, helps with marketing. He's also a student at UNC, majoring in business. So Jesse Little definitely very, very involved with this 97 team, and a good run for them so far tonight.
And speaking of a good run, how about John Hunter Nemechek pulling alongside Brett Moffitt, challenging for the lead. Moffitt's going to hold on to it this lap, but Nemechek right there on the inside.
A couple 2018 winners right here. Moffitt at Atlanta, John Hunter Nemechek at Martinsville.
You could see how bad John Hunter wanted to get away from Moffitt. He had the left front off the road trying to create that space. Got a little bit jiggy there as he came off the corner, but was able to make the pass.
And here comes Johnny Sauter on the move. How about Sauter? Restarted 16th, and he's up now to 10th.
Yeah, a little fresher tires on that 21. He waited to the end of stage number 1 to come down pit road.
There you see Kyle Busch. He's racing along with Todd Gilliland. You can see how high, how much grip there is all the way to the wall at this racetrack. That's 4th and 5th. You can see just ahead of him there's Justin Haley. But it's interesting to me that Kyle's having to try to find some fresh pavement, kind of running where the others aren't, trying to make those moves.
John Hunter Nemechek, our 4th different leader tonight. He's out front, halfway through stage 2 in the Queen City.
$1 million in cash. Who wants it?
Section PU 402, row 41.
Jimmy Johnson, the fastest gun in the West.
Section 104, row 4.
Blaney out of the first win.
Section 25, row 3.
What a year for Bubba.
Section O, row 25.
Keselowski's going to win at Talladega.
Section 156, row 4.
Kurt Busch to the lead on the backstretch.
Section 233, row 1.
Martin Truex Jr. wins.
You get a seat, but we doubt you'll ever use it. Grab your seats at NASCAR.com/tickets today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Ahoy! Y'all hungry for some KFC? Try my extra crispy tender $20 fill-up, guaranteed to satisfy a family of 4. Good luck!
Are we rescued?
It's extra crispy good.
All week we work. We clock in, roll up our sleeves, and get the job done. And when Friday comes, we all get to raise
When they take the green, there will be 10 to go.
a little hell.
Oh, trouble. Oh, there goes.
Well, one of the most inspirational stories in all of sports, that of Jake Olson, number 61 for the University of Southern California Trojans. Blind since the age of 12. He's a college football player, been enjoying a great week here in Charlotte. Rode along with former truck champ Todd Bodine and then even drove around the truck. And much scarier with Todd behind the wheel than Jake, and Jake gave the invocation before the race tonight. So great to have you with us. Thanks for coming up in the booth and spend some time with us.
Yeah, of course, man. It's great. You're great having me.
How's the visit been for you?
Man, it's been awesome. I mean, it's literally been jam-packed, and everything about it's just been amazing. You know, I've been really honored to do a lot of the things I've been able to do. You know, driving with Todd and giving the invocation tonight, and everyone involved with NASCAR is just so hospitable and nice and caring, and it's truly unlike anything I've ever experienced in a sport-wise.
Jake, how about that ride in that race truck with Todd?
It was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, to be behind something that has that much power in it is humbling, and you know, feeling the turns and then the straightaways. not being able to see it, you just based on the feel and feeling the tires on the ground, and then with those turns and stuff, it was incredible. I mean, it's something that I can see how these racers get addicted to it and want to come out here and do this.
Jake, I got to tell you, we golfed together the other night, and I was pretty sure you could beat me at golf, and that doesn't surprise me. Most everyone does. But I want to tell you, your presence here has been so inspirational for everyone that's met you. Every now and then in life, you meet people that make you want to be better and do better. You're that person for me, and I just want to say thank you, not only for coming and being part of NASCAR, but also for the inspiration that you've been.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, again, it's been an absolute pleasure to be here, you included, and Phil and Vince and everyone that I've been able to meet here, especially Todd and his wife Janet, have just been, again, so hospitable and taking care of me in every way and above, so it's been really cool. I'm definitely a NASCAR fan now, and I don't think this is going to be my last race.
Good deal.
Well, it's been so good to have you part of the Fox family this week. I know you've gotten a chance to do so many neat things, and everyone has enjoyed having you around. I know you're going to be here for the All-Star race tomorrow as well, and it's just a real pleasure to meet you. And what an inspiration you are, and just echo Michael's sentiments and what you have meant to so many people around the country for your perseverance. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Enjoy tonight's race, yeah?
Yep. Jake Olson.
And Todd, thank you too for being Jake's host and showing him such a good time here in the NASCAR world. We appreciate you.
And Janet as well.
Got a little battle for the lead that's developed. John Hunter Nemechek held off the challenges from Brett Moffitt once he got the lead, but now Kyle Busch has come calling. Kyle, we saw him running up high trying to make moves when he got to John Hunter, but now John Hunter's moved up there, and I think taking that groove away.
Yeah, Michael, you called it. These spotters for the 8 and the 16 told them both, as Kyle was running them down, they say the 51 is using the middle to the top of the racetrack and really gaining on the both of you. And John Hunter Nemechek has moved up to take that air off the nose of the 51. But it's interesting because several laps ago, Kyle Busch radioed to Mike Hillman Jr. a little bit concerned about how the engine was running. So he went from being concerned about the fuel pressure on the 51 to battling for the lead. Now he's settled into second and getting a little bit of heat from Brett Moffitt, but certainly Kyle Busch in the mix right now.
Yeah, just 5 laps remaining in this second stage. They have zipped by quickly. We have had just one caution, and that was for Grant Enfinger, who had the right rear tire go down, and that brought out the yellow.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of this high groove, as Johnny Sauter shows you that there's nothing wrong with the bottom either, but some guys are making some really good strong runs up high. That means there's plenty of racing room available when they get down in the turns.
And the trucks being in the close proximity, excusing the draft, is that what they were attempting to do, Mike, with the changes on the Cup side for the All-Star race and the aero package?
Even more dramatic, Vince. They slowed the cars down so that those guys can run wide open. They put a huge spoiler on the back, somewhat like what the trucks have here, and then those ducts in the nose to keep that air from affecting the car behind as much. So I love, like I talked earlier, these trucks race so awesome on the mile-and-a-half. So I think the best race of the whole year, maybe other than Daytona and Talladega, was the Vegas truck race.
Maybe the last 5 years, Michael.
I agree, and just so many great lines and ways to move around and make things happen. These truckers do it, and we're going to see the All-Stars do it tomorrow night.
Yeah, look forward to that tomorrow night for sure. Look at the Kyle Busch Motorsports group. Kyle running second, Todd Gilliland fourth, Brandon Jones ninth, Noah Gragson 10th. That's Jones in the 46 up top there, and you're looking out the window of Noah Gregson's Toyota.
Yeah, Brandon actually just got by Noah Gragson to take over that 9th position. Noah struggled a little bit here once he got that penalty for speeding on pit road. He made it march right up to the top 10 pretty quickly, and then it's kind of stalled out right here.
Pits are closed. Final couple of laps here in stage 2. John Hunter Nemechek, part-time in the Truck Series this season, part-time in the Xfinity Series with Chip Ganassi Racing, and there is 1 to go for John Hunter here in stage 2.
That's impressive. Drove up there and figured out a way to get around Brett Moffitt, and then Kyle Busch came calling, and he was able to move his line around and take care of Kyle, and he's going to win this stage.
Nemechek won earlier this season at Martinsville when Ben Rhodes won the first 2 stages, and then Rhodes had an issue, and John Hunter came through and took the victory.
All right, green and white checker right here. Before you go ahead and shut it down, make sure you get a good water temp, good stage one.
John Hunter Nemechek, his first stage win of the season. Stage 2 winner here at Charlotte. John Hunter Nemechek out front. Tiger Woods is back, and he's ready to take on the best at the 118th U.S. Open. Live coverage begins June 14th from Shinnecock Hills on Fox FS1, and of course always streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Think Tiger wins again this year?
I
think he wins.
Definitely think he wins.
I think so. I think
gets another win.
He's just about contented every time he's been in a tournament.
Yeah, he had a great outing at the Players.
Yeah, great weekend.
Yeah.
And he barely made the cut, and then he contended there towards the end of the weekend.
Can't wait to watch golf on Fox.
Stage 2 complete. You see the Stage 2 winner, John Hunter Nemechek, one of 4 leaders so far tonight. Nemechek, Brett Moffitt, Noah Gragson, Johnny Sauter. Coming to pit road, and we're going to check in with Caitlin first as Todd Gilliland heads her way.
Yeah, Vince, well, a pretty good showing for Todd's first truck race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Both crew chief Marcus Richmond and spotter Chris Lambert very complimentary of his abilities. Todd just saying that right front got a little bit numb and also freer on entry for the 4. Hermie.
Kyle Busch is too tight in the 51. They originally talked about a left rear spring rubber, taking it out. They do not want to waste that time, so it'll be a chassis adjustment. Same for the 16 of Brett Moffitt. You see the track bar going up on the right side of the 16. The 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. He likes the balance of his truck. A slight air pressure adjustment for John Hunter Nemechek. The right side is down. A little bit slow on the left rear for John Hunter Nemechek. A costly stop for him.
Yeah, they were slow on the right front as well, and you see the big gainers on that pit stop. Moffitt, Sauter, Crafton. How about Noah Gragson? No tires?
Risky.
There's Johnny Sauter. How about that recovery from that pit stop at the end of stage 1 up to the top 5? Let's see if we can chat with Johnny. Hey, Johnny Sauter, Phil Parsons and the boys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
That was a great work that time, moving that thing back up into the top 5 after getting those stage points. Johnny, do you realize that's the 30th stage in a row that you've scored points?
I did not realize that, but I appreciate you letting me know. Our ISM Connect's got pretty good speed here. Obviously, we were off sequence here a little bit, so tires are probably helping us. But yeah, we had an awesome pit stop. Guys are really doing it there, and just see what we can do from here on out.
All right, buddy. Have a great rest of the night.
10-4. Thank you.
A great run for Sauter up into the top 5. There's that 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. See the issue on the right front. Slowed him down a bit. Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, take a look at our Ford track facts and the best Charlotte finish for the Fords from ThorSport. Myatt Snyder was making his first start here in the truck. Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, a 2-time Charlotte winner. Grant Enfinger, 7th here a year ago. There's the 18 of Noah Gragson. We showed you the graphic before we went to break, and I made the comment because it said no tires taken by Noah Gragson. Couldn't believe that would have been the case, and it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't the case.
I think the comment was more with a question mark on it.
But Gragson did take 4 tires. And you see Kyle Busch is dropping back to the end, and here's why. Too many men over the wall. Now look, Kyle, there's Kyle in the 51. By the time he crosses that red line, before that, he can't have anybody over the wall except for the jackman. And you see he had a couple of guys over the wall too soon. Or the gas man, not the jackman, excuse me.
So it's been a tough night for Kyle on pit road. He's got a lot of speed in the truck, but he found that he couldn't race his way to the front, even though he wound up with track position, and now he's going to have to battle from the back.
It's going to be fun to watch him.
Yeah, it is.
Long way to go here in this race, too. 68 laps to go. We know we're going to have another pit stop. Talked to a lot of the crew chiefs in the garage. I said, when do you want to make that pit stop? They said, really, as soon as we get in our window, we want to get to pit road.
I think that was the key to the victory last week for Gragson. His crew chief, Rudy Fugel, said, come to pit road now. He got 4 tires, forced the hand of the other crew chiefs. He used that advantage to drive to victory lane.
So here on this restart to begin the third and final stage, it'll be Brett Moffitt and Johnny Sauter. Moffitt on the outside, Sauter on the inside. Both race winners this season. Sauter's won a couple of times, and Moffitt has that victory at Atlanta. Stage 3 underway.
It's amazing how much bumping and gouging they do on these restarts.
It's been entertaining, hasn't it?
It sure has.
That outside line gets moving a little bit better, it seems, each time, and then that inside comes right back as Sauter now pulls even with Gregson again. The good side-by-side with the 24 of Justin Haley. And
3 wide, 4 wide.
You saw Matt Crafton there on the inside of that 88. 3 wide, Crafton on the inside, Haley in the middle.
Oh, how did they make it?
Noah Gregson ends up coming out in front of the other two for third.
This is good stuff.
Todd Gilliland caught in the middle of the pack.
Oh, yeah, I think Todd's struggling a little bit right now on this restart.
Needs to be able to move up, get somebody off that right side door, maybe get some better grip.
Wow, what a view from Grant Enfinger, the visor cam.
Look at Ben Rhodes. He was trying to get on the outside of Todd Gilliland, and Todd said, no, I am on the outside. You can't possibly fit there.
Right in front of Enfinger in that 41 truck is Ben Rhodes. Caitlin.
Yeah, Vince, well, he dropped back quite a bit after that cycle of pit stops because they purposely took a long one because Ben Rhodes was saying, I'm hitting the rev limiter and I'm on the splitter. So they didn't want to risk it. He said, we have to try and fix this. I can't win the race like this. So just checking in with his crew chief, Eddie Cherkonis, he said, we added rounds to the front end to try and raise it up, get it off the splitter. But Ben Rhodes now currently holding down the 11th spot.
Yeah, Rhodes had a mechanical issue, fuel pickup problem at Kansas and finished 18th. That's his worst performance of the season. So looking for a bounce back here tonight. Currently 5th in the playoff standings. You see that 51 of Kyle Busch had the penalty for the too many men over the wall too soon. And he is on the march, and so is Johnny Sauter pulling inside of Brett Moffitt for the lead.
Johnny's maintained that speed he had in that second stage, driving his way all the way up to 5th. Now he has the lead back.
Sauter out front with Moffitt second close behind, and Noah Gregson coming in third.
Last time by, back in the 5th position, Matt Crafton was actually the fastest truck on the track. I think they're doing some nice work on that 88 truck. He and Junior Joyner as crew chief. Matt could have something to say about who's going to win this race.
Back on board with the 98 of Enfinger. How about that 88 of Crafton, Hermie?
They are going in the right direction. I just spoke to Junior Joyner. He said they have realized they have to run up top. They call it the Larson line in reference to Kyle Larson, how well he always runs at the top of the racetrack. But to get speed up there, they've had to really tighten up Matt on his entry into the corner, especially turn 3. They've done that last time down pit road, but they know they have to stay up in that top line to get maximum speed out of that 88.
He's not running the Larson line because I haven't seen him kick up any dust yet.
What about Stuart Friesen here? Wow, he makes some great ground on corner entries, able to drive all the way up beside Crafton. This is a great run again for Friesen.
Friesen top 10 in all 3 of the mile-and-a-half races this season and working on it again tonight in that 6th spot.
Talked to his crew chief Trip Bruce earlier. He called Stuart Ice Friesen. That's the nickname that Keelan Harvick hung on Stuart, and I think he likes it. He likes to be cool and calm.
Here are the 3 championship contenders that have gone to victory lane this season. Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, and Noah Gregson. No surprise, they're running 1, 2, 3.
Well, those are the 3 we talked at the top of the show. Who besides Kyle that's starting up front has a chance? They're running 1, 2, 3 right now.
And look at that move by Moffitt. Dives to the bottom. You know what I'm liking about what I'm seeing, Phil, is some guy can run up there, catch the leader, pass him, but he doesn't go anywhere. He isn't able to drive away and build a big margin. So that means drafting and using the different lines through the corners can give you a chance to get the lead right back.
Coming up on that lapped truck, and if you slip up here, they will pounce on you in a moment. Moffitt looking for an opportunity to get inside of Sauter, and when he does, you get the feeling he's going to bring Gregson in tow with him.
We've had 5 different winners this year, and there's 3 of them right there. That represents 4 wins so far out of the 6 we've had this year.
The 24 of Justin Haley running 4th.
Yeah, Vince, so far a pretty good night for Justin Haley. But talking with his crew chief, Kevin Bellecourt, earlier today, he said, you know, it's really been an up and down season for us. I feel like overall we have underperformed from what my expectation was. But he said, this is my 2nd season working with Justin, the first time I've ever actually worked with a driver for 2 consecutive seasons. And he said, our communication is very good. That line of communication has definitely improved from last season when they worked together. But he said, you know, he leans on Johnny Sauter, his teammate, a lot for insight throughout the course of these race weekends, and said Johnny very receptive to helping his teammates and some of the younger guys as well.
Boy, good battles all over the racetrack for positions.
There are that, Vince. You saw Kyle Busch move into the top 10. He's back in 10th now after that penalty he suffered. And there you see John Hunter Nemechek. He's joined that battle with Friesen and Matt Crafton, trying to break back into the top 5.
That's Justin Haley, who Caitlin reported on just ahead of that group. I like what Haley has done in Bellecourt, 3 straight top 10s, a couple of top 5s, and yet they feel like they've underperformed. And he's right there 8th in points, so he's on the bubble in regards to the playoff standings, so they need another good finish. But I think it speaks to their level of expectation when they've had that kind of season and they feel like they've underperformed.
I couldn't agree more with you, Vince. I was thinking that when Caitlin was giving her the report, because we've seen him up front, just not as consistent as I think they'd like to be. And that means they've got their goals set high, and that's how you get better.
But what a solid night tonight that young man has had. What a great 3-way battle up here for the top spot.
Sauter continues to lead with Brett Moffitt 2nd and Noah Gregson 3rd. We're going to go to commercial break, but don't go anywhere. You won't miss a lap. Going to keep on trucking from Charlotte.
Memorial Day weekend is a time for remembrance and honor. And this Memorial Day weekend, we'll salute our troops like no one else. At the Coca-Cola 600, Sunday, May 27th. The most patriotic day in racing starts with an amazing pre-race concert by country superstars, the Eli Young Band. Another line in the storied history of America's home for racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Coca-Cola 600, Sunday, Memorial Day weekend in Charlotte. There's nothing like it.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Bliss with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck for 41 straight years. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
Ahoy! Y'all hungry for some KFC? Try my extra crispy tender $20 fill-up, guaranteed to satisfy a family of 4. Good luck!
Are we rescued?
It's extra crispy good.
$1 million in cash up for grabs. Who wants it?
This summer, men become gods. The guy who has literally everything, all of a sudden, it becomes not enough. And Brazil, I see you, Neymar.
Welcome to the obligatory David Beckham cameo. There he is.
So wake up! The players become fans. Sign me up. This isn't just some sporting event. Something about that guy I don't like. This summer, the world becomes the FIFA World Cup on Fox.
You've been watching it. Pit stops with 52 to go. Right there in their window, right around 50 to 55 laps. So this is a time that maybe you thought some guys would come and just take fuel only, but it looked like everybody came and got tires. Didn't some come and?
I think a lot of them just did get fuel only. We saw others check this action coming to pit road. I know you saw it while we were keeping on trucking, but this was an argument over space here. I think Moffitt thought he was second, and Noah Gragson said, no, I'm second.
Noah said, I'm coming down pit road. Moffitt said, but I don't want to.
And they worked it out. I like gas here, Phil, and saving those tires a little bit longer. You can make it to the finish. You got to get that gas.
I think you have to get the gas.
Brett didn't think that. They stayed out.
We saw some taking 4 tires, and the chances of getting another caution here before the end of the race certainly play in your favor. And in fact, the last green flag run has been 8 laps or less in 5 of the last 6 races. So getting a caution late, got to believe you're going to get one, but you never know.
Let's see if we can get a word from Brett about that decision. Hey, Brett Moffitt, it's Michael and the boys again. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you, Mikey.
Tell me about the decision not to come to pit road and get gas or tires. You're staying out. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're just not quite confident that we can make it to the end, and so try to stay up here and keep some track position, hope we get a caution in the next 20 or so laps, and then come do it all in one stop and go to the end.
I see. It's a little bit dicey there, staying on the track. You and the 18 were side by side coming to pit road. That was weird, huh?
Yeah, not sure what he was doing there, but he tried to rip the right side of our car, that's for sure.
All right, well, hang in there. It's fun to watch. Appreciate you. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Don't you just like going right down in the game, getting those comments?
I mean, we needed to know why he didn't stop.
Those were issues that we needed to have answers to.
Well, for the second time tonight, Kyle Busch's crew penalized for over the wall too soon.
Oh, we showed that earlier when with the Hawkeye system of those guys landing. That isn't a full-time Cup crew, Vince. They're development guys.
Well, tomorrow it's afternoon baseball on FS1. Josh Donaldson and the Blue Jays hosting the Oakland A's for the Major League Showdown. All begins at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on FS1. Or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. The A's and Jays tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's got to be frustrating for the 51 of Kyle Busch and company, Hermie.
2 drivers that had less drama on their pit stop. Johnny Sauter in the 21, they just made a track bar adjustment, the very same adjustment they made the last time on pit road, just to kind of keep up with the track. They feel good about what they've got. The 18 of Noah Gragson, he was too tight as well, but they came down pit road, 4 tires, and made a wedge adjustment on him, so those guys should be good to go to the end.
Even if we're going to have another caution, and we can only presume, you'd still want the tires now, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I think I want them later if I can, if it falls at the right time of the race. But what's interesting, Ben?
Yeah, but do you take that chance that it
Some of them thought it was worth it. What I think is interesting is the fact that some of these teams aren't confident right now they can make it all the way to the checker flag on their fuel. So that's why you saw Moffitt stay out, and it's going to be close for them, I think.
How about this radio from Kyle Busch's team?
You gotta be kidding me. We lose 6 spots every time coming down, and you guys can't figure out how to jump off the wall.
I think you get the point.
Yeah. Well, he's got to be frustrated.
Well, and he's got a good point. I mean, you made a mistake the first time. Don't turn around and make it again in the next pit stop.
Watch this restart. We've had trouble getting going all night long. Bumper trucks, and there it is again.
That inside line just hasn't taken off, and this time it was Jesse Little that couldn't get going, and he gets put in the middle of the sandwich. John Hunter Nemechek in that 8 truck comes around on the inside.
John Hunter helped him get going there on that restart.
So Brett Moffitt out front with Parker Kligerman in second.
Look at Matt Crafton thinking about making it 4 wide. Oh, that's Chris Eggleston in the white truck with the black top, the 54.
Just mayhem on these restarts.
How about Johnny Sauter on the move?
Looking inside of Moffitt for the lead, Johnny Sauter.
Johnny's going to use those fresh tires that Joe Shear put on him on that restart, on that pit stop.
This will be interesting. He's been the dominant truck all night long. Now he's got the lead. I'm wondering who will be able to clear the pack. Will it be Kyle Busch as he's fighting from the back again, 3 wide down on the bottom? Who will be able to fight clear of the pack? And can they keep up with Johnny Sauter? He's been so fast all night.
Kyle Busch has the bit between his teeth after a second penalty on pit road as the caution is out again. Caution was out before for Justin Fontaine, who had spun and suffered some right rear damage. This time it's the 33 of Josh Rayon. Good news for the 51, right?
Yeah, good news for a lot of people that actually need to save a little fuel. Everybody that stopped and is going to try to make it from the end. Obviously, Brett Moffitt doesn't need to save the fuel right now.
And what I'm wondering, Phil, is I mean, this didn't play out as Moffitt would have hoped. I think he would like to run 10 more laps.
Absolutely.
And
I'm not sure he'll even pit, Michael, because he's already made his bet. He needs to probably have a little fresher tires in these guys because he's going to have so many trucks to drive through. If I'm him, I think I would gamble and maybe wait 10 or 15 more laps, or would you maybe get to fuel now and get the tires later?
Now that's a good point. They've got some options, none of which seem to be really good right at this moment. Another 10 laps, that caution flies. It's time to come get those tires and gas.
Great to see the fans in the stands after such a rainy day here earlier. And there's Jake Olson, who was with us earlier, along with Todd Bodine, feeling the vibrations of racing at Charlotte. Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. 44 laps to go, and Brett Moffitt coming to pit road, Hermie.
Yeah, Vince talked to these guys. They said there was no way they could make it on field had they pitted last time when all the leaders came down pit road. This time it'll be 4 tires, fuel, and the only adjustment they're making is a right rear air pressure adjustment. They added a ½ pound to the right rear to free this truck up a little bit because he will be in traffic. We'll see how much ground Brett can make back up and if he can get this truck back in contention before we get to the checkered flag.
Guys, I think it's going to be awfully hard because he only has about 2 laps fresher tires than everybody that pitted on that most recent caution. So I think it's going to be almost impossible for him to contend for the win here.
Phil and I have had a spirited debate about that during the break, and I think he can get back to the top 5. That truck's really fast. He's got plenty of racing room here at Charlotte. You can run right out next to the wall all the way down to the bottom. I think this could be a chance for Brett Moffitt to really show what he's got and how he can drive back to the front.
How about Ben Rhodes in that 41 truck sitting 9th?
It's funny because these guys don't have to play these games on these restarts. You know, like you watch Kyle Busch, he doesn't play those games. You know, none of the guys on Sunday play these games.
All good. Let's just worry about ourselves. It's all good. Let's be smarter than them. Let's beat them on their game.
I think Ben is talking about maybe lugging the field down, laying back, trying to make a trick, play a trick to get a good start. And I think it has more to do with people running in the back of each other, making them spin their tires.
And it seems like we've seen that a lot on these restarts, the chain reaction. And the problem is once you go after the 2nd or 3rd row, it gets harder and harder because you can't see what's going on.
There's no question, though, the easiest time to pass is on the restart. So you're going to have the less patience at this moment than any other.
They're ready.
That was just timed perfectly by Gregson and Brett Moffitt. That bump was just what he needed to propel him to the front. Those other bumps were more aggressive, and it caused the guys to spin their tires.
You got to get it while you can, and the most opportune time to do it is on the restart.
You know, you said easiest time, Vince. It looks hard to me. I mean, they're running 3 wide and running into each other. I think it's the best opportunity to make those moves, but it's thrilling to watch.
The easiest passes to make are on pit road.
There you go.
What about?
Unless you happen to be the guys going over the wall.
What about one of my guys from the back saying they could drive up to the front and contend? Parker Kligerman sitting in that 3rd position. He's joined there. That's a 75 truck for Kligerman. He's joined up in the top 10 by Brandon Jones. Brandon's made his way up front as well.
At 46, another one of those Kyle Busch Motorsports machines as we get ready for this restart. Johnny Sauter on the outside, Stuart Friesen on the inside. Green waving, racing again in Charlotte.
Friesen was really aggressive on the restarts at Kansas last week.
But again, that inside line slow to take off, and now Kligerman gets put in the middle as John Hunter comes on the inside. Myatt Snyder on the outside.
Boy, Myatt's made a nice recovery from being a lap down.
And some contact back there just behind the 18 of Gregson, and here comes Kyle Busch in that 51. Couple of pit road penalties, and he is on the move.
You don't think he's on a mission, do you?
Oh, it looked like Todd Gilliland maybe got in the outside wall there with the Ford truck, the Pedigree Toyota.
Side by side for second, that 24 of Justin Haley in the black and yellow truck on the inside, and the black and red Toyota of Noah Gregson on the outside. Gregson gets second. Haley slots in third, and Stuart Friesen in the 52 is fourth.
Remember, these guys battled the 21 of Sauter, the 18 of Gregson, right down to the wire at Dover just a couple races ago.
Oh, and that battle turned into a fight. I mean, they were battling and bouncing off of one another on the racetrack, and Gregson got into Sauter and eventually crashed. But you're right, Phil. I know race car drivers have memories like an elephant. He remembers everything that happened at Dover, and Johnny Sauter's looking in that mirror and saying, you better keep it together tonight, buddy.
A couple of Kyle Busch Motorsports machines, that 46 of Brandon Jones, the 51 of Kyle Busch. Remember, Kyle trying to get career win number 51 in the trucks here tonight, which would tie Ron Hornaday Jr. for the all-time lead.
How about the momentum that the 51 of Kyle Busch had? He went high on the outside of 3 and 4. Brandon Jones stayed right on the bottom. Kyle had so much momentum, he just drove right by him.
Kyle's in fifth, hasn't led a lap tonight. Sauter, Moffitt, Nemechek, Gregson. They've all been leaders tonight, as has Jordan Anderson, who led a lap under caution.
Look at this. Oh.
Avoiding the 20 of Daniel Hemrick.
Barely avoiding the 20 of Daniel Hemrick.
What about avoiding them? Then Mike Snyder just drives around to the inside of Ben Rhodes. Benz is going to hold that spot. But wow, what great racing back in the pack.
There's Todd Gilliland in that yellow Pedigree number 4 Toyota, trying to get down and block Parker Kligerman, but didn't get it done in time. And now Moffitt is there challenging the 4 of Gilliland. Kligerman's had a fast truck tonight. They've done a nice job with that machine.
And when we talked to him earlier, he said he had a real fast truck, didn't really have time to make a mock qualifying run, but had a fast truck.
And look at Moffitt. He's lurking, Phil, all the way up to the 13th position. Gets by this little glob into the top 10.
What he needs now is a caution to bunch up the field again. Get another double file restart.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get that. How do they race like this without more cautions? I've seen 2 or 3 cautions that just didn't quite mature, didn't quite come together, but man, it was close.
There he jumps to the outside of the 4 of Gilliland. Brett Moffitt on the move. Just outside the top 10 right now.
Kligerman in that 75 truck is 10th as Gilliland challenges, sitting in that 11th spot, and then Myatt Snyder, and then Brett Moffitt. There's Moffitt inside of Snyder for position.
There's Austin Hill in that white truck, the 02 down on the bottom, and just behind them in the 22 is Austin Selfield. That's a backup truck, and he's driven into the top 15. Nice job by this team.
I saw him make some nice moves on this restart. Very aggressive around the outside, making it 2 and 3 wide.
John Hunter Nemechek and Ben Rhodes for 8th.
Look at the damage to the back of Nemechek's truck. Not sure that wouldn't be hurting that truck a bit, Phil. You need all the downforce you can get when you're trying to run around this place nearly wide open.
Moffitt with a big wiggle. Gathered it up. Brett Moffitt
tough there on the outside, Vince.
I think Moffitt's faster than both Kligerman and Gilliland, but he just doesn't have anywhere to go. Can't get
the middle's open. The middle's open right there for a minute.
Oh, Todd cut off Kligerman and tries to block. Kligerman says, not so fast, buddy.
Man, this is a great battle for 10th, 11th, and 12th right there. Whoa. Side by side, Kligerman's got to hold on to it.
You can watch his hands on the steering wheel. He had his hands full.
Move Moffitt up to the 11th position now. I think the 75 truck of Kligerman's still on those same tires. I think they just got fuel and maybe have a set of tires in the pit. So I know that's one team maybe hoping there's a caution here late where he can take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Into the wall, though.
That was Kligerman. Still green.
Take it out.
Wanting his spotter to take a look, make sure that all the tires are still up.
Hadn't talked about Grant Enfinger all night. Had that flat earlier. Did a masterful job saving that truck. And now he's raced into the top 15. It's pretty heavy contact there, Phil.
Yeah, it is. I think he was just trying to find some grip up there. Got a little bit high. Jumped the cushion a little bit. Got it on the outside wall.
Have to watch for this truck to blow a tire. Sometimes when you get into that outside wall, it caves your fender down on your tire and she'll blow out.
Costing.
I don't see anything on the left side now.
That makes sense.
He didn't hit on the left side.
Exactly.
I'd look at those right sides, though.
You ought to see everything that went on over there on that right side.
A little damage on the bumper.
Plenty of pace still, Phil. Ran like 31.20 that last time by, so didn't slow him down any.
30 laps remaining, and Johnny Sauter, two-time winner this season, out front of Noah Gragson. Kyle Busch is running third. Kyle's had to come from the back a couple of times because of penalties on pit road, and he has closed the gap.
I think we have to give Kyle the record for passing the most trucks tonight, for sure.
Stuart Friesen in the 52 truck is fifth.
Yeah, Vince, you talk about Charlotte and how different this racetrack drives in turns 1 and 2 versus turns 3 and 4. Right now, Friesen entering turns 1 and 2. This is the end of the racetrack, and he thinks his truck is really good. You can see him turning good on the bottom, getting a good run off the corner. Where he's struggling is turns 3 and 4. He cannot get the truck to turn center off 3 and 4, and it's really hurting the momentum of that 52. So he's top 5. He'd like to be better, but struggling right here at this end of the racetrack.
We've heard a lot of drivers talk about that today, about getting their truck to turn enough to their liking in the front end. Friesen, just another one added to that list.
Brandon Jones with a nice run on the high side. I think he's a little bit faster than Friesen now. They're closing down on Haley up in the 4th position. Looks like Brandon's going to try to go to the bottom and grab this spot.
Guys, I've been watching the scoring monitor as Brandon Jones is trying to wrestle that 5th place away from Stuart Friesen, and Noah Gragson is chasing down Johnny Sauter. He was the fastest truck the last 4 laps. That lap, Johnny Sauter was a little bit quicker, but Kyle Busch was the quickest truck on the racetrack.
Side by side for 5th. Brandon Jones in that 46, nudging ahead of Friesen.
He's not going to quite be able to clear him, Vince.
Friesen.
That's so frustrating as a driver. You get that close, you're just hoping that spotter will say clear, 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 and you can move up. Wasn't the case there.
Of course, Jones runs full-time in the Xfinity Series for Joe Gibbs Racing, and this is his 2nd run with Kyle Busch Motorsports in the truck. He's got 3 more starts: Chicago, Kentucky, and Las Vegas coming.
Doing a nice job here tonight. A lot of speed. You see Ben Rhodes there challenging on the bottom against Matt Crafton.
A couple of teammates. Crafton in 7th, and then neon yellow 88. Ben Rhodes right behind him.
Saw a little debris fly off of one of the trucks. Not sure what it was. It didn't look like it was real heavy or thick.
25 laps left. We know Moffitt can make it on fuel. Do you think anyone else is nervous about whether or not they can get to the end?
I think they're all nervous because they all pitted on lap number 82. That's that debris I was talking about. They pitted on lap 82. We talked about the pit window being somewhere between 50 and 55 laps. I think that caution was going to help them, Vince, maybe give them a little bit of insurance, but I think some of those guys are still just a little bit uneasy about it.
You know, you talked about Noah Gragson being a little faster than Sauter for a few laps. You think the reason why is because of what he sees in his rearview mirror? There's Kyle Busch that has made it back to the 3rd position. You see Brandon Jones to the bottom again, trying to finish the deal here against Friesen.
These guys are going to be tired of seeing one another before the end of the night.
So close again. And that's dragging Matt Crafton and Ben Rhodes right up to this battle for the 6th position.
Yeah, every time Friesen and Jones go side by side, Crafton and Rhodes get a little closer.
And they're having a great battle at the same time, running side by side. A lot of the way around this racetrack as Brandon Jones makes another run at Friesen.
This might be the trick here because he had such an advantage on entry. Can he hug that bottom and edge ahead?
I don't think it's going to happen, Mike.
Oh, you see Ben Rhodes getting a little loose, trying to cut under Crafton.
Trying to get everything they can out of these trucks for every last position. You never know. Every single point. Just 1 point could make a difference. And a caution is out with 22 to go.
think NASCAR decided that that debris needed to be cleaned up here, and wow, what a game changer this could be.
And that's why, as you saw the truck run right over that piece, it looks like a piece of metal out there that has come off one of the trucks.
We've seen these restarts be so crazy, and now the intensity's just ratcheted up that much more, Vince, because it's so late in the going. We're really going to see pushing and shoving now.
Well, the restarts, we talked about, the mayhem that you see each and every time they line up and restart, and that's the time to grab positions. We're going to have another opportunity and then a sprint to the finish.
I'm sure Johnny Sauter will take the outside, which will put Noah Gragson on the bottom with Kyle Busch right behind him. And
we know how good Kyle is on restarts.
I was going to say, if I'm Tony Hirschman, Noah's spotter, I'm going to say, be ready for a push because it will be coming, and hopefully that push will work where it can propel that inside lane ahead. We haven't seen much progress from the bottom line on these restarts tonight.
Yeah, Johnny's been really good on the restarts tonight with that 21 truck. This is another opportunity for these guys to save some fuel.
So certainly if you were close on fuel or nervous about it, you were maybe breathing a little easier right now.
Vince, a little easier.
Save some fuel with these caution laps. Anybody left to come to pit road again if there's
well, I think some people just got gas. I believe there'll be
like
some.
Kligerman, we know for sure. Maybe John Hunter Nemechek, is he another guy that that did not put tires on? But with only 20 laps to go, we're going to restart with probably 18 laps to go. I'm not sure that's going to be enough time.
I agree with you, Phil, but it's going to be entertaining for us to watch them try to make it enough time.
Yeah, that's the big question. Are the tires worth enough to get you from deep in the field in 20 laps?
We've seen such great racing, guys side by side and drafting up. Is that John Hunter Nemechek coming? Parker Kligerman?
Yep. Is that Austin Hill maybe coming right behind him?
Hemrick comes. Dalton Sargent.
Jesse Little.
Chris Eggleston. Is that him in the 54 there that came as well?
Caitlin.
Well, for Parker Kligerman, it's been a pretty decent night. They are one of the teams electing to come down pit road for some fresh tires. Also, listening into the 97 of Jesse Little, he's saying he's got no grip and wants to pit for 4 tires as well. Hermie.
The 8 of John Hunter Nemechek taking this opportunity to come in, make one more adjustment, struggling with the right front. Finally gets the right front off, but they'll put on their tires, pump up the air pressure a little bit to try to make a run towards the end. They knew they were not going to win like they were, so their hope is now get back out and get a couple more cautions to re-rack them and take advantage of these fresh tires.
Boy, Nemechek lost a lot of spots there on pit road with that struggle to get that right front tire off.
I'm just wondering, that damage on the back of the 8 truck, did that hamper the performance somewhat? He's caved way in back there.
Hey, more often than not, ladies first is known as a polite form of etiquette, but at the NHRA's most recent race in Atlanta, Top Fuel's Leah Pritchett and Funny Cars' Courtney Force stormed to victories, showing the men how it's done. Get ready for your fix of Friday Nitro. It's the NHRA qualifying from Topeka, Kansas, coming up next, right here on FS1.
I like how you did that, Vince. Friday Nitro.
Highly trained professional.
That's why you're in charge up here.
Well, it's going to be fun here with 20 laps to go. It's going to be a shootout, and by the time they get this restarts sorted out, positions exchanging hands for sure, I think we're going to just have a dash to the finish. And how about those 2 guys right there at the finish, the 2 that we anticipate will battle to the championship. I mean, coming into tonight, look what Johnny Sauter and Noah Gragson have done this season. 1st and 2nd in the points.
Couple wins for Johnny, 1 win for Noah Gragson. How about the stage wins for Gragson? 5 of them to 2 for Johnny.
The veteran against a teenager. That's as good as it gets, isn't it? Coming in here with all the experience Johnny Sauter has, and Noah Gragson says, I am ready for this challenge. But when you're inexperienced, when you're a teenager, sometimes you're going to make a mistake or 2 along the way.
Remember, Sauter and Gragson had that great battle at Dover a couple of weeks ago, side by side for the lead with just a couple of laps to go, and ended up touching. And of course, Gragson went into the wall, and Sauter ended up winning the race.
That was the mistake I was speaking of, Vince. And it was a pretty dramatic one as well. That truck made hard contact with the outside wall. Watch this. You can see just bumping into the side of Sauter, trying to bump draft and side draft off of Sauter. and just overdid it. Knew he made a mistake, went to victory lane, talked to Johnny Sauter immediately and said that one was on me, my fault. I learned from it. And what did he do the next day? Go out and run in the top 5 in the Xfinity race? Just put that right behind him.
Yep.
And that's the kind of talent this young man is.
And then came back the next week in the truck and put it in victory lane.
Parked it.
Yeah, we said top of the show, he could go back-to-back here. Could be 2 in a row. I'm really curious to see this restart here with the teammates of Noah Gragson and Kyle Busch lined up, probably nose to tail, as we feel like Johnny Sauter is going to take the outside on this restart, and he did.
Yeah, and I think that Sauter just executes here and gets that 21 truck in the clean air out front. They've been able to run him down, but I don't know if they've got enough to pass him. Johnny's been so fast tonight.
Remember, the guys on the inside have to anticipate. Johnny knows when he's going to go. They have to anticipate when Johnny's going to go.
Yeah, we've seen that inside line stack up every restart tonight, and they don't lose a lot of positions because eventually they get going. It seems like maybe they just lose 1 or 2, but we've seen that inside line stack up each time.
And what an opportunity this is for Justin Haley in the 24 truck. He's in the 4th position. If he executes here, gets to the back bumper of Johnny Sauter, he could come off turn 2 running 2nd.
Remember, all new engine here for the Truck Series, the NT1. A lot of these teams have worked a lot with their transmission ratios for these restarts. What they had last year didn't necessarily work because these engines turned less RPMs than the OEMs. So a lot of work's been done on transmission ratios. And I know GMS with Johnny Sauter tried something new last week and they felt like it really worked.
Our 2 championship leaders, our point leaders, Sauter #1 in the playoff standings, Gragson #2. They restart on the front row. Kyle Busch restarting inside 2nd row. Hasn't led a lap tonight, seeking to tie the all-time record with his 51st career win. And he gave Noah Gragson a big push, and Gragson got out of line, out of shape.
Noah's going to lose a number of positions here. Justin Haley's going to slide into the 2nd spot in front of Kyle Busch.
Ben Rhodes 3 wide in the middle, some contact.
Look at Brandon Jones up the outside. He's going for the 2nd spot.
Able to sort it out, but there was definitely, and Matt Crafton, a lot of smoke coming out of the back of the 88.
You can see all the damage to the left rear quarter panel.
And the caution is out.
Tough break for the 22 truck there. I saw some sparks off of him, but a big break for Matt Crafton. He's got to get to pit road and work on that fender.
Look at all the damage to that back of that truck.
Don't go anywhere. It's going to be fun right to the finish at Charlotte. It is going to be good to the finish here at Charlotte. Getting ready for this restart. It'll be with less than 15 to go. How about the previous restart? Kyle Busch giving teammate Noah Gragson a big push and really just pushed him right out of the way.
Like we said, he's going to get aggressive. He wanted to give that push, trying to help Noah. It was more than Noah could stand. That's just hard when your back wheels are up off the ground to keep the truck going straight.
Yep. Watch the 4, the 88. The 4 gets into the back of the 88 of Crafton. That's the 4 of Todd Gilliland.
And that was a chain reaction. They just seized up in front of him.
But
we're not done yet.
Looks like Crafton loses a little bit of momentum off turn 2 right there. And watch Gilliland. Bam!
Yeah, that front end fit right in that little crevice there in the back of that 88.
He's the one that made it.
That's true. That's true.
He knew it would fit. And then watch this. Jordan Anderson back there. John Hunter Nemechek was on the bottom, and Jordan just didn't know he was there. Came down, did a nice job saving it. But then look at the 22 truck. We talked about Self and the good run he is having. That's his 2nd truck today, Phil.
So on that restart, there were about, a handful of different incidents?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, in the restart and a couple of lap afterwards. Well, I got to believe Matt Crafton's not too happy with the way Todd Gilliland treated him. Let's listen to Crafton's radio.
Drilled from behind and drove in the fence on the right side, too. Yeah, we saw it. 4, like he's going to go somewhere. Kids are driving me nuts.
That's Junior Joyner.
Kids are driving me nuts, Junior. So.
I just don't see how. That 88 doesn't pit. I guess they're maybe formulating a plan. That's Junior Joyner. You're talking about him. How some people were driving him crazy, and now he's trying to formulate a plan here to fix the 88 truck.
Yeah, it was smoking a lot when that caution came out.
John Hunter Nemechek is on pit road. He had a little bit of contact, you noted, with Jordan Anderson in that 3 trucks. So here comes Nemechek.
And the pit road was closed, so he had a problem. You can see, I think that right front tire is flat there, Phil.
Hermie?
Yeah, these guys trying to make the best of a bad situation. They came down pit road, kind of off sequence earlier, lost a lot of track position in the middle of some of that chaos that we saw on the racetrack. So they're putting some scuffs on from early tonight on the right side and fixing a little damage on the right front, trying to salvage what they can here at the end of this race.
Yeah, we still have quite a few trucks on the lead lap. I think 24 trucks are being shown on the lead lap right now with just 13 laps to go.
Phil, I got the 16 truck we just saw go by there. Brett Moffitt, he's up to 7th, getting in a position to maybe have a shot at contending for the win here.
These cautions have really helped, and that's closed them up, and they got double file restarts.
And the way the double file restarts are going, I mean, very aggressive full contact racing with our truckers here on these restarts.
At 4 of Todd Gilliland, and there's his Kyle Busch Motorsports teammate Noah Gragson coming back for the finish. Camping World Truck Series. Better call your friends and tell them to get to FS1 right now. It's going to be a shootout. Getting ready to come to the finish of the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Johnny Sauter in that blue 21. The control truck. Justin Haley, his teammate in the 24. Restarting at Charlotte. Camping World, 10 to go.
What a great job by Johnny Sauter on that restart.
Look at Ben Rhodes wedging his way inside of Kyle Busch. Gave him a little bit of a shove there.
Kyle got put in the middle. Can he squeeze his way through?
How about Brandon Jones racing side by side for second with Haley? Brandon into 46.
Sauter out front. Haley and Jones side by side for second. Kyle Busch in third with Stuart Friesen on his outside.
Wow.
Friesen and Busch side by side. Good battle there. And then just ahead of them, Brandon Jones and Justin Haley. Now Kyle Busch gets that spot from Friesen. Busch in 4th.
Yeah, I think Kyle wanted to get to the outside up in front of Friesen.
Johnny Sauter's loving what he's seeing in his rearview mirror, huh?
Yeah, he wants him battling back behind.
Heck yeah. And so do I. I love this battling. Look at Moffitt.
Trying to get underneath the 51 of Busch.
Remember, Kyle Busch has had a couple of pit lane penalties tonight and has driven from the back twice.
What about Parker Klickerman using those new tires? We saw him in the wall earlier. Now he's trying to battle up toward the top 5.
Brandon Jones in that 46 ahead of Kyle Busch, and now here comes Brett Moffitt inside of the 51 of Busch.
What a statement it would be if Brett Moffitt can outrun Kyle Busch, and he got by him.
Wow.
Moffitt in 4th between a couple of KBM trucks. Justin Haley in that black and yellow 24 sitting second, but he has a couple of trucks in hot pursuit. Now Kyle to the inside of Moffitt.
Moffitt about spun out, leaving turn 2 there, Vince. Got really loose, lost all his momentum.
And how about Jones all over the back end of Haley?
A big time block by Haley.
Now Jones to the inside. This is for second. But only 6 laps to go, so whomever gets second, are they going to have enough time to eventually catch Johnny Sauter, who's out by more than a second lead? Kyle now around the outside.
Give it to Brandon Jones. He makes that move.
He's one of those guys that you said could contend from the back, Michael.
Kyle Busch to the bottom, getting past Justin Haley for third. Haley around.
Moffitt got into Haley. What is he going to save it?
What a save by Justin Haley, still green. Wow. 5 laps left here at Charlotte. Johnny Sauter continues to lead, but what a battle behind him.
What an amazing save by Justin Haley.
It doesn't get any better than that, does it? Wow, but he's burned his tires up too. He'll be lucky to hang on to that thing.
Slipped back outside the top 10, but a highlight reel save for Justin Haley. Take a look at this. Watch Haley there in that black and yellow 24. Moffitt just into the back end just a little.
Never gave up though, did he, Phil?
Sure didn't. And watch him make that correction before that thing could swing over with that front end into the wall.
That was awesome driving.
Johnny Sauter opening it up to almost a 1.5 second lead now. Brandon Jones and Kyle Busch battling for second. There's the 8 of Nemechek. A little further back in the field. Of course, had to come down pit road because of some earlier problems, but there's your second place battle. Brandon Jones leading Kyle Busch for second, and Johnny Sauter is up ahead with just 3 to go.
Johnny Sauter caught a huge break with those guys getting hung side by side, racing for second. I wondered if anybody could break away. We haven't seen it all night. Johnny Sauter did it.
Kyle makes the move to the bottom and try to get by Jones. Coming to 2 to go, guys.
2 laps remaining, 3 miles left. Kyle Busch inside of his teammate Brandon Jones side by side for second.
Tell you whether Brandon Jones finishes second or third. It looks like, oh, it might be third. He gave that truck a great ride here tonight.
He has, from the back of the pack all the way to contend for a top 3 finish.
Kyle closed the door on him, and Brandon got into the back end just a bit. Here comes Johnny Sauter. White flag is out for Sauter. What a season it has been for Johnny Sauter. Already a 2-time winner. Won the season opener at Daytona a couple of weeks ago in a dramatic finish. Won at Dover. And now holding off a couple of KBM trucks and all other Chargers. Johnny Sauter through turn 4. He's going to do it. And for the first time, win at Charlotte.
He's not very excited, I don't think.
Wow. See, I love that. 40 years old, all the races that Johnny Sauter has won in his life, and he still has that much joy to win. I mean, we talked about the beginning of the show tonight, how special it is to race here at this place, and you just heard it from one of the veterans.
Since he's won the Xfinity races, he's won this truck race twice at Daytona, and he said that's the biggest win of his life right here.
I love the passion. I love the emotion. And we heard him talking earlier how thankful he is for this opportunity. That sounded like a teenager in that truck, didn't it? Talking about how special this place is to get the win. That was incredible.
Johnny Sauter, 40 years old, from Wisconsin.
What is he, 2 for 2 at the age of 40 now? No, because Noah Gragson won last week.
Yeah,
that's
2
right.
for 3.
Yeah, 2 for 3.
A teenager snuck in and got that one in between time, Phil.
But Sauter has never been better, and you said it, Phil. He's raced in a variety of series, even in NASCAR, but late models. I mean, guy just races anything. He's a racer through and through. And yet you still heard the elation for Johnny to win at Charlotte.
It's quite amazing with the competition that we have here in the series that he's been able to win 3 of the first 7 races.
You know, let me say, you know, we talked both last week before the Kansas race and this week before this one, how, you know, anytime Kyle Busch is in the field, you got to consider Kyle a guy to beat, right? I mean, he's won 50 times in the series. The last 2 laps, or the last 2 races, he hasn't led a single lap, and I think that speaks to the depth of the truck series.
And I just love, look at the racetracks Johnny Sauter's won on. The super speedway at Daytona, the mile at Dover, and now the 1.5 miles here at Charlotte. If you didn't think he was going to be the favorite racing for this championship, he gets rolling on these 1.5 miles like he has the other tracks. It's going to be a tough road to beat this guy.
That's a 20th top 10 in a row on a 1.5 miles for Johnny Sauter. That's an all-time record here in the truck series. And 4 wins in those 20 top 10 finishes.
His 20th career win.
Maury Gallagher, all the folks at GMS, Mike Beam, just have done a nice job of building this team and putting winning trucks underneath drivers that can go out and get the job done.
And tip the cap to Johnny's crew chief, Joe Shear Jr.
Took a gamble in that first stage, Vince. Stayed out and made it work.
Johnny didn't really like the gamble, I don't think. Joe Shear said the last one is the one that matters, not this one.
But when he went to the back and drove all the way up to the top 5 in that second stage, I think everybody probably took note that that was the truck you're going to have to beat tonight.
What a great run for Brandon Jones tonight. Finished 3rd. He's with Caitlin.
Yeah, it certainly was, Vince. Started 28th, made your way all the way up to 3rd. How were you and your team able to execute all throughout the course of this race?
Yeah, these guys, they fought pretty good for it all day long, and I raced the best in the truck series and in the business there at the end. So couldn't be happier with where we were there. I would like to have came home with a win with Cody there. That was pretty cool for him to come over and kind of do this one-off truck with us here. But all in all, great day for us, great day for Mobile One and Toyota. We were all up front there for the majority of the race there. So it was a blast to come down and run this race, and I think I learned some stuff for next week for the Xfinity car.
Nice job. Brandon Jones ends the night in the top 5. Hermie?
Well, Johnny Sauter pulls into victory lane. You could hear the elation and the emotion on this guy on the radio. He's won a lot of races at a lot of big places in this series, but happy to finally find victory lane here in Charlotte. 10 starts here, first time visiting victory lane, and there he is celebrating 3rd win of the 2018 season for Johnny Sauter. Johnny, you guys have won a lot of races. You won Daytona, a lot of other places, but you said this is the biggest win of my career. Why?
It's a tough place. Everybody wants to win here. I never thought I'd win here. I've had good runs here, and I've had very humbling runs, to say the least, but so proud of everybody at GMS Fabrication. Can't thank the Gallagher family enough. Ron and Maury, I bet you wish you were here. And ISM Connect, Chevrolet, Goodyear had great tire tonight, I thought. I like to fall off and all that, but to win this race is just super special. I just can't thank everybody at GMS enough. Team effort, and I was worried about our pit strategy there at the beginning, and then we just mowed right through there. So I can't thank the pit crew enough, everybody. Say hi to my wife and kids, and thank the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Blessed Mother as always.
These guys won Daytona, they won Dover, and tonight they win Charlotte.
Johnny Sauter in firm control of those playoff standings with those 3 wins. Noah Gragson, Brett Moffitt, also championship contenders who have victories. Remember, the top 8 make the playoffs.
Nice recovery for Matt Kraft, and he got all the way back up to the 11th spot after that damage late. So nice point night for him.
Guys, we're going to have a battle for that top 8 all the way down to the end of the regular season.
Fun one tonight, thanks to Hermie Sadler and Caitlin Vincey. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. Johnny Sauter, a 3-time winner this season. Tonight, he wins for the first time at Charlotte.